Hi, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode of Haunt Talk. Today, we will be doing a review on Ghoul Brothers in Akron, Ohio. We have been to Ghoul Brothers before. It is a newer haunt. It's behind an Acme. It's kind of weird, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's right beside a McDonald's. Yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover in this one, because it's in the back of a shopping mall, and there's plenty of good shopping mall haunts we've been to, but sometimes people kind of have oh, it's in a shopping mall. I don't know why, really, because haunts are kind of hard to find locations for as it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I assume shopping malls might already have a sprinkler system installed. Anyways, yes. Yeah. But they were closed for the 2020 season, so it is nice to see them reopened, and they, reopened with 9 new scenes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So there was, and I don't know, so there was a decent amount that was added. Now this haunt is kind of a variety haunt, so know that one before we get into the review. They say it's SCP themed, but there is just a lot of different themes. So it's one of those, kind of almost like something like, it's a very close haunt to it, Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. Yeah. Where it's like a lot of different themes
mashup
going
of
on.
Stuff, yeah. I could see, it had, the hospital, it had a slaughterhouse, it had some clowns, it has a little of everything. So, yeah, it is kind of your classic haunted house kind of thing,
yes. And it's cool, too, we got to have a kind of behind-the-scenes tour as well. So that was kind of cool to see a couple of things. We'll touch on that a little bit, some of the things that we were told that I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But that being said, we're going to just hop right on into the review there. And as always, that means it is time to refer to the Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead!
So, of course, we always start off with sets and props. Like we said, it is a variety haunt. So you've got a little of everything. Mm-hmm. You've got your traditional spooky house. You've got slaughterhouse, hillbillies, you've even got, some clowns thrown in there, sane asylums, all that fun stuff.
But it tends to somehow still feel kind of consistent because this haunt isn't real, it's not really large, but how they make up for that, though, for being kind of a smaller footprint haunt, is that it is very, very back-to-back. It is very non-stop. It's just scene after scene after scene.
Yes.
And I like that there is variety in it, and we'll talk more about it in actors, but I just want to briefly mention it. And one of the reasons I feel like this haunt is so cohesive feeling is how the actors interact with you in this place. Yes. And that is, one of the things. But this place does, even though it is a very, very actor-focused haunted house.
Yes.
Very actor-focused, there is still amazing sets and props in this thing.
Yes.
Some of the coolest puppets. There's a lot of puppets here, which I love.
Yeah, a lot of puppets. And a lot of, very well-used, well-placed, animatronics.
Yeah, not a lot of animatronics, more puppets, but there are some. There's a cool chair ghost thing that they have that unfolded its arm and stood up.
That was
that
neat.
Was kind of cool.
That was neat.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was cool. They just had just really interesting, and a lot of these props actually came from movies too. We found out
some of them, yeah. They have one of the things we were shown was from Jurassic Park 3. It was an egg incubator, I think it was.
Yeah,
a thing with the egg was in, and some of the dinosaurs they have was actually from Cedar Point when they used to have their dinosaur. I forget what they called it at Cedar Point. It was a dinosaur island type of thing.
Yeah,
it's where the Frontier expedition thing is now. So I thought that was kind of interesting to learn. And then there was another prop in there that's from Resident Evil 5, the movie, I do believe he said.
Yeah, it's one Resident Evil 4, I believe.
4
yeah,
or 5.
The movie. And then I've
never seen any of the actual movies. Played all the games, though.
Right at the beginning was something from Pacific Rim.
Oh, yes. It's and this I have a picture of. It's this awful blob thing.
It is gross.
So that was cool. But Yeah, I really kind of liked how it went back to back. You got like a good variety. I like both because it's kind of funny because on the same night we went to Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse before this, which is the exact opposite. It's all one theme, like it's all slaughterhouse, and this creepy family thing. Where this one is just like more like traditional like haunted house, where it's like a whole bunch of like room after room. And I really like both because this it gives you variety and like there's just so many different things to look at. And we went through twice, and it was cool going through the second time because there's things I did not see at all.
Yeah.
The first time, and I could probably go through a third and a fourth time and find new things, that I didn't see. I would, love to go through this place with the lights on and just look at all of that. The only small complaint that we had with sets and props was I would really like them to get rid of this black hallway thing. It is cool, one thing to do with it. They have this car that blinds you and blows a horn, so you go into this thing and you're completely blind, but there wasn't any. It was like a dead space. There was no actors in this section, and it just felt like it's like scene after scene, and then it's just like black hallways. And the other thing that kind of sucked about it is because of how this place is structured. All you got to do is look up, and you can just find exactly where you need to go. So I really hope that in years to come that they get rid of those black hallways and put another scene or two, like an actual scene in there. But. Yeah, air cannons, I hate you. They had some really brutal air cannons in here. But yeah, the cool lab scene. It was a cool, like, little Halloween barn thing. I think I have a picture of this. And one of my favorite puppets they had was they have a swamp, but they have this giant alligator head.
Yeah, the big alligator head was really cool.
And they were saying that's one of people's favorite things too, which I can see because it was really cool.
And that big clown, what's his name, Mr. Giggles?
Oh yeah, that big puppet too. They like make you like duck under it.
Yeah, you literally can't get out of this room without like dodging it.
Oh yeah, he'll kind of come out and hit you a little bit, just kind of like.
Because he grabbed me the first time, and I was like, okay, I'm never leaving. Right. And then the next time, I kind of like dodged around the hand real quick. So I'm like, all right, let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the attic scene is a big standout one. That one's really cool. But just the way overall this place is designed, like, it's just designed as well. And we've talked about this other times we've been there, but the way they have it so the actors can come in and out, it's just a really well-designed haunt where people can get you multiple times. We'll talk about that more in actors, but it is part of the design and the sets and the props because of how everything weaves within itself. Yeah. It's just a very smartly designed place. But yes, overall, we really liked it. I would like to see a couple more scenes in that black hallway gone, but besides that, it's really good. It's some really nice eye candy. We gave sets and props a 9.5.
Yes. So that brings us to actors. And we have a fancy word written here. It says plethora. Yeah. Yeah, there was so many. A lot. Mm-hmm. So many actors. And, like, when we first walked through, I swear they were just ganging up on us.
That's how it always is every year we've been there, though. Yeah. There's so many.
It was crazy. And I don't know. I think they recognized us. Some of them recognized us.
Some of them definitely did.
I kept getting catcalled. And the one was just kept going, "Hi, Kim. Hi, Kim." And I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah. And it's amazing how, like, because of the way this place is designed, that you'll see actors from the very beginning of the haunt, like, multiple times. Like, there's this guy, Jody's like the Umbrella Academy, or Umbrella from Resident Evil, I don't know which he is, but he's, like, has kind of, like, what looks a little bit like a plague mask and, like, this laser light eye thing, and he has, like, these creepy long fingernails, and he, like, followed us around, and, like, a lot. He would just be places and just slowly stalk behind me, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, he was behind me at one point, because that black hallway, we both got blinded. So we kind of go in there, and I'm trying to reach for him because he's in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God. And I got him, and I stopped abruptly while Umbrella was behind me. And he ran right into me too because he couldn't see either.
Yeah, but it's so crazy how, like, they do just appear, and, like, he is so creepy because, like, he very rarely even tries to jump scare you. He just like
stands in the corner.
He's just in places, or he's just slowly following you. It's weird, and it's really creepy, and he's distracting because you're like, what the fuck? Then
you're like, sudden, why are you here?
You're like looking here, and then there's like 20 actors in your face, and you turn around, and you're like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah, the guy that tries to get you to kiss this pig. There's like this pig, and his thing is he always tries to get you to kiss the pig. It's just a prop pig that hangs from the ceiling, but he's always trying to get you to do that. There's Pig Santa, which is literally Santa, but he had a pig face.
Yeah, and he had like a big horn or something, like an air horn, and he kept.
Oh yes, he did. He kept scaring me multiple times. So and the actors are pretty aggressive here too. Like they just come out of all the orifices, making loud noises. Like the hiding places are really good here. Always different directions. Sometimes below, sometimes on top, sometimes in front, sometimes behind. All directions. There's a really creepy attic girl, and she literally just like stands there. She just looks like the girl from The Ring. She just stands there, and it's just creepy. And then she's kind of used as a distraction for someone else to get you, but she just kind of sits there or stands there and just doesn't move. And it's like,
when we first walked into the room, I thought it was a mannequin.
No, she's weird.
And then we walked past, and she turned her head because he had already walked in front of me, and she slowly turned her head to me, and she just was like, bye. And I'm just like, oh, that was a real person. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, she was so still and just standing there, just staring. And it was just, it was so unnerving.
Yeah, it was. Something that we really appreciated was they didn't do like any just random, just screaming at the top of their lungs in your ears. I hate that when haunts do that, where they just come up to you and they just scream as loud as they can at you. It's annoying. Yes. And we only got one partial I want to play. We should I think that's going to be like a new rating system. We're going to count how many people scream in our ears, how many people ask if they want to play. But she was literally around games and says, do you want to play a game? So we're excusing that one.
Yeah,
it's not a real
you
want to play.
Yeah, because she actually was in a place that, there were games. So yeah, she gets a pass.
It's acceptable. It's acceptable. Just like Crawford. I think we mentioned in that one someone did it, but she had games. She wanted to she wanted to play Hangman with us at Crawford.
She wanted to play Hangman, and there was a bunch of chalkboards. So yeah, so we're playing Hangman on the chalkboard. So but she gets a pass too.
But yeah, no, in all seriousness, so all the actors are really good. Not a lot of them had tons of dialogue. Some of them did though, like the guy. There was like a vampire. There was on a bed. There was this girl come out and she was talking about like the vampires being real and the people calling us names. But they are more focused on just being tons of energy. There was one part before we get into the vortex tunnel that was one of the most ridiculous moments I've ever had in a haunt. I don't know exactly how many actors were trying to scare us at once, but it was ridiculous to the point where it kind of just desensitized me for a minute because there were so many people just everywhere coming out at once where I'm just kind of like, I kind of stopped screaming. I'm just like, just kind of looking around.
They were just everywhere.
I felt like I was being like assaulted. It was
the floor shaking, and there's all these people.
Because they followed us into the vortex tunnel, and vortex tunnels don't bother us because we go through all the time. But yeah, they were just jumping on the bridge. It was something else. It was something else. There was a lot. Because another group had caught up with us, towards the end, which this was towards the end, and, I think they were kind of freaking out, too, because there was just so many
Yeah, the one girl, she's like, oh, my God. I could keep hearing her behind me. And she just was like, no, I'm not having this.
It was something. It was something else. Yeah, it was just a full-on assault. But yeah, actors we did give a 10 to. They were great. There's tons of them. And the costuming was amazing, too. We didn't really talk about that, but real great costumes. We did kind of touch on the Umbrella Academy, Umbrella person, whatever, guy. But everyone that was in there that we could see was really good costuming. So yeah, I was very happy with all of that.
So that moves us on to Scare Factor. Yeah. It's scary, bro. Like we said, ton of jump scares galore. Yeah. Really good hiding spots. His favorite thing, air cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of those.
A couple of them, yeah. These electric popper things.
The popper things, yeah, those things are obnoxious too. It's back to back. You really don't have anything, any kind of breathing room for the black hallway. Yeah.
Besides the black hallway.
This one doesn't really rely a lot on gore. Of course, there is some stuff, in hospital scenes and a slaughterhouse and stuff like that.
Also, since we came from Chippewa, maybe it seemed like there wasn't much gore because that place was gore galore.
Yeah, it was gore galore, but it didn't really seem like it was super gory anywhere. So it was kind of nice to not feel like everything's sticky.
Most of the scenes themselves in this place aren't what I would call intense by, like, theming. Like, there's not, like, a lot of real adult imagery necessarily and stuff. So that part might be a little bit more of, like, friendly towards a slightly younger audience. But the aggressiveness and the back-to-back-to-back scares makes us say that it is very scary. And, yeah, I think that this is one that's geared more towards people that are really into haunts and stuff like that, and people that want to go and really get scared, and not people that are just kind of like dipping their toes and like, oh, I think I might like haunted houses. Like, no, this is for people I think that, really want to go and they want to have a good time and get frightened.
Yeah.
But, it's not as much of like a dark, like foreboding atmosphere as something like Chippewa. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more fun. So that's why we gave it a 9.5. It's still very scary, but since it's a little bit more on the fun side of being super scary, that's the only reason we didn't give it a 10 there. And again, scare factor, we state this a lot. It could be a 5 in scare factor, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Every haunt goes for something different with scare factor, but this one is very scary. So keep that in mind, that your throat will probably hurt from screaming so much. And that'll bring us right into value. So it's $20. Interestingly, they don't have a VIP pass, not that I could see, but they do have a $35 option, and that's just an all-night ticket. So you purchase it, and you can just kind of keep going in. So if you find the night when they're, like, slower, and they're only open on Fridays and Saturdays, they're not open on Sundays, you could go and just do it multiple times. And I would honestly recommend, if you have the time to do it, this is the kind of place that, because they change up the spots that the actors are in. Like, the second time we went through, like, first, for example, there's a scene where someone was in a tub the first time, and the next time they came out from behind me. Mm-hmm. Like, so completely different areas. So it is fun to go through this one multiple times, and 2019 we went through it twice, too, because about halfway through we got our experience room because of a group in front of us, so they were nice enough to let us go again, and people were completely different spots.
Yeah.
And, they were still able to get us multiple times. Even on the tour, when they were, like, much less aggressive with it, they still got me multiple times that the guy was giving. Because they were still trying to scare. Like, the place wasn't shut down. He just kind of took us through again and kind of showing us some stuff. But the scare actors were still getting us. Not as much as they were if it was, like, just normal walking through. But still got me quite a few times just from that. It took only 15 minutes to get through. So this isn't a real long haunt. But it is very intense. It is very, short but sweet. Again, the only thing we really have, I do wish, they did say that there is a little bit room for growing, so I would like to see it grow, of course. That would be awesome if it's just a little bit longer. And just that one hallway where it's just nothing but blackness and some tubes hanging from the ceiling, I would like to see, that become more of a scene. And maybe they could add a little bit of time in by just making those scenes, not just something you just switch back real quick between, something to stall you out. But for value, we gave it a 9.5 for $20 and for $35 for all night. Even at 15 minutes, I think that the quality and how much fun this place is to walk through, because it is scary, but it is fun. Yes. I mean, I will say, like I said, because the atmosphere is more light, it really, I don't know, it's like the kind of scare where you get scared and you kind of laugh.
Yes. I did actually laugh, and one of the actors kept mimicking my laugh as we were walking through, because I did start laughing, and I was going, and all of a sudden I hear, like behind me. That's funny. And he kept doing it. He just kept following me around, and he was just like, it was like, okay, I get it. Right. So that brings us to our overall score, which is a 9.5. Mm-hmm.
Yep, this haunt, as it's always been good since we've been, but it's continued to grow and grow, and we really, really like this place, and it is very close to Akron Haunted Schoolhouse Laboratory, which is just by default a lot more popular because it's been around for so long. Do yourself a favor and go to this place. It is. Go there first or go there second, whatever. You would not be disappointed. Mm-mm. Generally, when we've went to, like, Akron Haunted Schoolhouse is great, and it is pretty long with 2 haunts, but this place I feel like is scarier.
Yes.
Just because of how tight-knit everything is.
Yes. Yeah, I would say if you had to pick one or the other, definitely check out Ghoul Brothers, just because
they're so close. You should easily do them in one night.
Yeah, you could do them in one night. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. But it was just a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed it. I'm excited for years to come when they do expand a little bit And you know, any changes they make and stuff like that, I'm excited years to come, because they really haven't been open for that many years. So it's nice to see what they've been able to do in just a short amount of time. You know, that they have been open. But have you guys been to this haunt? What did you think of it? You know, was your opinions the same as ours? You know, make sure, of course, to like this video. It helps out a lot. Maybe share it if you want to. That, you know, helps to help your friends find places, you know, all that kind of thing. Subscribe, and of course, ring the bell so you don't miss any notifications and any following videos that we put up, because there's still a lot more reviews to come. There's 4 more that came out this week. We've had a whole bunch of other reviews, so make sure you go back and check out that. And also look at our past years if it's a place you're not reviewing this year. Of course, things change from year to year, but it still gives you a good idea of what to expect if you're going into a place. Also, make sure to check out our social medias. We have a Patreon if you want to help us out. And, you know, there's many different tiers for different budgets and that kind of stuff. The higher tier, the more like little perks and stuff you get and all of that kind of thing. All of those links are always in the description of the video, so feel free to check those out. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye.